Hi everyone, this is Tyler Constable with Avantra, and welcome to the reporting training video. In here, we're going to go through a couple different kinds of reports, whether it's a PDF report that gets emailed out automatically, or perhaps it's a report that's an interactive report where you can log in and actually see the health of your systems and go back in time and get a nice high-level overview, what I call a heat map of what's been going on over the last week, month, 3 months, what have you. So looking forward to showing you around.
When logging into Avantra, on the top, you will recognize a reporting drop-down. If you'd like to find out more information on the predictive resource planning reporting and the SLA availability overview reporting, please be sure to review those training recordings. Before we get into the PDF-based reports, we're going to quickly review just a very few quick concepts. Remember, back in our SAP systems, we have our real-time monitoring checks and our daily checks. Just a quick recap on this. The daily checks are meant for the reporting. These are the checks that run what's happened over the last 24 hours. So they run once a day and review everything that's happened since the last time they ran. Now, remember on Monday is going to by default, the box is going to go all the way back to Friday, where you can make that modifiable, where it can run every Saturday and Sunday as well. Real-time monitoring is meant more for dashboarding purposes, automation, notifications, so on and so forth. So in this session, we're going to stick with our daily checks and see what kind of reports we can build out. Now, a lot of people are starting to shift. Historically, there's been a lot of PDF-based reports that get sent out via email or maybe via different formats. But what's really become very hot in the last few years are the interactive-based reports. So to get to these, I went to the monitoring dropdown and selected daily checks. Now, why this is so nice is this becomes interactive. Right? So these are all my different systems. I can click in each one and get my interactive report. I can also select maybe the reports or the reports I want where the systems are only in different systems. So you can easily just select from up here. Now, what that means is if just one daily check goes into a certain status, the highest of the status, that's the end check that will show. So I can also go back and look historically as well. So this is May 14th. Maybe I want to go back to May 12th. I can start to run these reports from different days, right? So this is what's also very nice. I don't have to keep looking through my email, looking for PDF-based reports from last week or from a month ago. I can easily come in here, take a look at these different reports. Now this becomes very, very exciting for maybe management that wants to look at reports, or maybe if you're a managed service provider and you're providing this service to your customers can actually log in and get the reports. Please be sure to watch the user training video on how you can separate that out so they can only see their systems. So some very powerful things you can do in here. Now in this interactive report, you can actually find out more information in it, which is in the result column here. So you can see there's all different information as to why these are in certain statuses. But if you click the three little dots here, that's actually going to show us more information. So this user password audit, well, here we can start to see some information, but let's actually find out more. So click here. Now I can see, here's all the information. Oh yeah, look here. And client 066 Sapstar has a very well-known password. You can also click directly into the system and find out more information. So it's kind of going back to the system level that we initially started off with in our training. Or if you select just the line item itself, so be sure not to click here on the system, but select here, or maybe out here on the line item itself, and then select the daily check overview up here. And what this does is this gives you kind of a top-down heat map as to what are the most critical things. So here are all the different checks. Here I can actually pick a date range. I could pick, last 7 days. Here's the last 7 days. I could pick last month, or maybe I want to go back and say, let's go back to, May 20th. Whatever you pick, whatever day range you want. Now you can start to see all your different checks and what's going on. Look for trends. Is something happening every Monday? What have you? And anywhere you want, you can easily just click in here and see what's going on. Oh, here's that Sapstar password well known again, right? So it's been happening every single day. This becomes very, very powerful and beneficial when you want to go back and look at historical data, see what's going on in the last 24 hours, so on and so forth. Now, if you still do want to do a PDF report, Avantra has some great capabilities in there as well. So we're going to go to our reporting dropdown and select our service level reports. Now in here, we're going to quickly see that these are a list of all the different reports that have been run. So you can see when it's published in private, that means right now everything is private because it's locked. But if I wanted to run a report, maybe a customer still wants a PDF report, but they don't want it sent to their inbox if they're a managed service provider, right? And providing reports to customers. You could actually have the report run daily and just be in here, and a customer can come in and then see the historical reports anytime they want. So if you want to do that, all the history of the reports are in here as well. You'll see a new set of tabs have opened up, and we'll go through these in just a few minutes. But first, let's make a very generic report. Let's just go to our new. First things first is it's going to say, all right, we got what template do we want to use? Well, we don't want to do a template. Let's start from scratch. So how easy this is. So the first thing I'm going to do here is go down to select our customer, and we're going to select what kind of system. So we're going to say, all right, everything that's production for this particular customer, then we're going to select our day. Let's just go back to, I don't know, May 27th, right? And again, you can select a different date range if you want, so on and so forth. Now, down here are all the different things that we can bring in. Another remark we're going to come back to in just a minute. That's if you want to add any specific notes yourself to the report. But here you can see all the different areas that we've talked about in all our sessions. So I'm going to select just SAP systems. You'll see a new set of criteria have opened up. And just for this report, I'm going to do system availabilities. Obviously, that's pretty important. I can look at the details. I can look at the different software components that are in there. We're in all kinds of different reports in here. But for this example, I'm just going to select ABAP average dial response time. And down here, you'll see the all performance data. And this is really important. This shows a lot of data. So if you pick the all performance data, just for a single system, you're probably going to get about 10 pages of graphs and charts just because there's so much. So feel free to play around a little bit, select the selection criteria. Maybe there's only certain 2 graphs you want to show. For this example, I'm just going to select no performance data. Again, you can see all these different types of system types in here. Again, here's the real-time monitoring and daily checks. As we talked about earlier, do not use real-time monitoring. That's only going to show you the health of the system right now when we run the report, which doesn't really mean much, right? That's really more powerful for dashboarding and so on and so forth. We want to see more what's been going on over the last 24 hours. I want to see all daily check details. I could select different, look for only ones that are critical status, what have you. For this example, I'm just going to keep it like this and show all different kinds of areas here, a lot of different criteria. So I really suggest playing around in here, getting to know the reporting solution. There's a lot of different areas we can parse data and push out different types of data. Then down towards the bottom are, do we want to hide the table of contents? This is more for how the report is built out from a structure standpoint. So I'm just going to do, right now, I'm going to save as a template. So let's call this one our training template Riesling, because that was the customer we said. Let's do save. And now I'm just going to do a generate. Now I didn't have to save it as a template. That's just because we're going to come back and make some modifications. We're going to just redo it, run it, gen SLR. There it comes across, it's done. I can do close and open SLR. Here it comes down to my laptop. And as simple as this, I now have my new report, and it ran about 19 pages. So here you can start to see, here's the table of contents. And here's the uptime. So again, I asked for, remember, for the system availabilities, I asked for average dialogue response time. It's always going to show 2 charts. It's going to show the day I picked. And it's going to give me a little bit more of a higher up overview. Again, because you kind of see, here's May 27th, midnight to the end of the day. And here's just a little bit higher up overview. So you can start to look for trends and see what's going on. As I scroll down here, we get into our daily checks. A little bit lower here. Now we get into our daily checks. And it's always going to show the most critical things top, warning followed by OK. What's important to note what Avantra does in here is even if things are OK, it's still going to show what it found. This becomes very, very important for organizations that maybe are heavily audited. Typically, we find a lot in pharmaceutical companies that even though things ran OK, they still need to know how it ran. So Avantra does provide that information. So you get to see all the different systems here and what was actually checked and what the results were. Let's go back and let's say, as you saw at the top, there was an Avantra logo, right? So let's modify this a little bit. So I'm going to go to my Styles tab here, and I'm going to pick one I just created right before this session here. It's called Wayne. What it is, I went out and I found a logo for Wayne Enterprises for all of you Batman fans. And that's what we're going to use as our company logo. Let's say we work for Wayne Enterprises. There's a couple other things too. We could add a second page. We could replace the titles. If you want to replace the headers, change the color schemes, these reports are fairly customizable. So we're just gonna, in this example here, just change the picture. So my style here, I went to the styles tab, I created new, and I just created this one. And all I did was just add, I just uploaded the image here. I'm gonna go back to the template that we just created. So here's that training template easily. So it's all pre-built. Again, this is the criteria we just selected just a little while ago. At the very bottom, you see there's an apply style. So I'm going to make those modifications, and I'm just going to select Wayne. I'm going to save the template. Now let's generate that SLR again. And here it comes across. I'm going to make close and open. Here it comes down to my laptop. And you now see we've got our new Wayne Enterprises logo right on here. All right, so you can add as you can see very, very quickly, add logos, so on and so forth. Now, so we now have our report. We have our template that's customized with our own logo on it. But now we want to send it out every single day. So first thing we have to do is make sure that our email settings are in place. So from our administration settings, and this is all in our documentation, you need to make sure that the top right, select mail, that the mail host and mail settings are all configured in here. So please see documentation. If you've already set up notifications, this will all work for that as well. I'm going to select our jobs tab. So these are the different jobs for reporting. So I'm just going to do a training daily report. I'll select in, and now you can see some criteria for what's going to happen. It's currently inactive, so I can always deactivate this as necessary. See my name. Now we get the template. So here's the template that we just created. So we'll do our training template Riesling. Now, if you want to use this, if you're a managed service provider, you want to use this across multiple customers, you'll need to set which customer you want this to run for. Then you get the schedule. So here you can see our new schedule. Maybe this is just set to run once. Maybe it's a daily report. So I'm going to select daily. It's going to run at whatever time I want here. And select OK. So now I have my daily report set to run at this example 5:17 p.m. in this case UTC. And I'm going to have it run for the last day. Right? We don't need it to run last month. So it's going to run every day. It's going to record the last day. I'll be the owner. Now here's where we can start to modify what we do with it. All right. So if you remember back when we were first looking, when we first got into the report, we had the private and published. Private being if I ran it, only I would see it. Published means anyone who had access to that customer could come in and see the reports, and they could see a history of their PDF reports. Right. Again, there might be a situation where someone wants to come in and see reports, but they don't want to get emailed a report every day. So in that case, we would just select publish. If we want to copy it to a folder, so you can easily copy it to a folder, or we're going to send it to an email. So in this case here, we're just going to put down who we're sending it to. I'm sorry, who it's coming from, who it's coming to. We want to CC it or BCC it. And in here now, we can start to write what we want it to call. So here, let's call it daily report. And we can use these macros on the bottom here if you want. So here, I'm going to say maybe daily report for, now I'll get a start date. And we'll say, dear customer or manager, attached is your daily report for, again, I can just copy and paste it here again. And as simple as that, I can now select apply. And now every day, that report that we just built out with our Wayne Enterprises logo is going to get sent out automatically. As a recap, we reviewed daily checks versus real-time monitoring checks. We reviewed interactive reports, including the heat map, and we built out an example PDF report, customized it, and set it up as a job to run daily.